It's by DJ Rabi Music featuring Kamiikaze, Thug Life. Assalamu alaikum and very good morning to Azman this morning as well. Shall we connect with my track of the week artist then? Let's try and get him on the phone line. Assalamu alaikum. Is this Kamiikaze?
Yes, Kamiikaze. How are you?
Okay, I'm very well, thank you. First of all, before we go ahead with this conversation, I'm a little confused because I've heard some people say Kamiikaze, some people say Kamiikaze, and I don't want to call you by the wrong name.
It's Kamiikaze. Yeah, people have their own pronunciation of it, I guess. But whatever floats your boat, but originally it's Kamiikaze.
So you know what? I'm going to actually call you Kamiikaze today. So we have Kamiikaze with us. He's a music producer all the way from Birmingham. Welcome to the show, Kamiikaze. It's a pleasure having you on the show. I mean, we've been trying to arrange this for a long time, but you know, COVID and all sorts of things have been coming in between. So now's the right time. So I thought, you know what, let's get Kamiikaze on my show. Because you've been on RadioSangam before as well. You've been on DJ Mirza's show. I don't know if you've been on Tanveer's show, but you've definitely been on DJ Mirza's show a few times, I think.
Yeah, I've been on DJ Mirza's show quite a few times.
Yeah, so not a stranger to RadioSangam. Kamiikaze is. He spoke to DJ Mirza about his release Wisdom, I think it was, and also Birmingham.
Wisdom and
Birmingham.
Birmingham, yeah. Birmingham, yeah. Both of them.
Not Birmingham, Birmingham. Yeah.
Birmingham, you have to say with the correct pronunciation.
Yeah, you do.
It's all about pronunciation.
It is. So we have Kamiikaze with us. He's a music producer from Birmingham, and basically. The reason I've got him on the show today is he released, I believe, his debut album around about October last year, if that's correct.
Yeah, that's correct. It was around October time, and it was featuring an artist called Romero.
Yeah.
Who's quite a renowned artist from Pakistan. She's been singing in the film industry, Bollywood, the Pakistani film industry, for over 30 years.
Okay.
Recently, I think 3 years ago, quite a few of the songs she appeared on Coke Studio.
Oh, yeah, cool.
In one of the seasons. She had about 2-3 songs with Coke Studio, so she's quite an established artist.
That says everything. If she's on Coke Studio, then you only get the best in Coke Studio, as everybody will be aware of that. Yeah, so that's quite interesting, Kamiikaze, that you chose Romero because an artist from Pakistan, and I really like that about yourself because you didn't go for like the well-known artists like, for example, Naseebollah, to mention one.
There's a reason for that, Junaid. I'll explain why that is. It's because there's a lot of talent in Pakistan. There's a lot of talent in India. Talent from artists from Pakistan, if they collab with UK artists, it's always the same.
Yeah.
Like we've had the era when we had Shazia Manzoor. You know, no disrespect to her, Shazia Manzoor's got fantastic vocal skills. She's a fantastic singer in her own right. But it's just her songs coming out when we have so much. Where in Pakistan we have a lot of artists.
Yeah.
The same thing, the same ideology is happening with Naseebollah. You know, she's collaborating with all these UK producers and artists, which is fine.
Yeah.
There's no problem with that. But there's more artists. There's a variety of artists. It's not just Naseebollah. So that's why I just wanted to think out of the box and use someone different. That's all.
Yeah, no, I applaud you for that because you know what, you could have played it safe and said, you know what, I'm gonna feature Naseebo on this album, and you know it's gonna be a massive success because everybody loves Naseebo. But you didn't go for that. You said, you know, you're gonna put a different voice out there for the audience, for the UK market anyway. And I really love the album, Kamiikaze. I absolutely love the album. I've heard all 8 tracks of the album. So I'm gonna play my favorite track from the album. I don't know if you know what that is, but we're gonna hear that very soon. It's my track of the week as well, this week.
Okay.
From your album. What I was going to ask you, Kamiikaze, is what is one thing every song must have for it to be solid as a music producer?
Well, there's different things. First of all, the person who produces the song, he needs to have like some kind of foundation about Asian music, Desi music, from Pakistani music to Indian music. That's the research part of it.
Yeah.
And it's just the lyrics as well, the composition of the song. Does the lyrics go with the composition? You know, there's various factors and stuff. It's not just, you know what, I'm just going to follow. Like, let's just say there's a song and it's a big hit.
Yeah.
And the producer sits down and thinks that, you know what, I'm just going to copy the same concept that happened behind that song and, you know, this is going to be, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
You know, in music, you have to have your own, I don't know, think out the box. You have to have your own individuality.
Yeah.
You know,
definitely.
be able to think out the box, to make something unique, to make something different, like myself, like what you just said as well. It links to that point. You know, I could have chosen Nasiibul on.
Yeah.
I could have chosen Shazia Manzoor. But, you know, I wanted to see there's more artists, there's different artists. I wanted to do something different. So I'm going to start with a different artist.
Oh, definitely. So is there an artist you want to work with that you have not yet had the opportunity to work with? Any artist? Who?
If I start with the list will get endless. The list will just go on and on and on and on and on, and you know.
One artist that you'd really love to work with.
Like, are they present? If you mean someone present or someone who's not with us now, or
Present. Someone present.
Someone present.
Yeah.
This is a bit of a hard one as well. You mean like UK based or
Anywhere.
abroad?
Anywhere.
I would say, well, this is a childhood artist that I liked since I was a kid.
Okay.
Which is quite hard because the singer is usually for the older masses, the more senior listeners.
All right.
So you probably think, why would this guy listen to this artist from a childhood? And the artist is a folk singer from Pakistan.
Okay.
His name is Ataullah Khan Isa Khelvi.
I think everybody loves Ataullah Khan Isa Khelvi. Well, majority of people do.
Yeah, and I've been listening to him since the age of 4 or 5. So
yeah.
You know, I'm quite a big fan of him, and that would be my dream to work with him.
Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, with Ataullah Khan Isa Khelvi, DJ Chino basically did a lot of remixes with him, and a lot of
they did.
Yeah, and then a lot of younger listeners started listening to Ataullah Khan Isa Khelvi because of that reason, I think.
Because of the music, you know, where obviously, if you know, he's a traditional folk artist. His music is traditionally folk.
Yeah.
But what DJ Chino done was he used the same melodies, you know, the same composition, but, you know, recreated the melodies using more Western music, more like upbeat music for the youngsters, and
that's it.
Hence, that's what it clicked on.
Yeah, that's why a lot of younger people started listening to Ataullah as well.
Yeah, it's the same like with Arif Noir and stuff, but obviously Arif Noir's gone quite big because it's gone into Indian films, you know, Punjabi Indian films and stuff, and it's a different kind of market, isn't it? So.
It is. Okay, Kamiikaze, do you have any advice for young people who want to become music producers like yourself? I mean, how did your journey start? And if there's any young listeners out there that want to be music producers, what should they do? My journey started with myself. I was just mad about music. I still am, you know, since a young age. You know, going through my granddad's collection, you know, because, you know, obviously the senior people in the family, their music tastes are different, and my granddad, you know, God bless him, used to like the old Mohammed Rafi songs and the Alam Noir songs, you know, on the record. Yeah. They were first started on records and stuff. Yeah.
You know, even sometimes I listen to that music myself.
Do you have anybody?
You know, my music's quite different. You know, I don't just listen to one specific music as well. Sometimes I have my times where I listen to ghazals, Afan Kujadas. Sometimes I like listen to Pakistani folk music from Shaukat Ali, or, you know, you could say Alam Noir or Arif Noir.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like to listen to Indian Punjabi folk music from Gurdas Maan or Hans Raj Hans.
Yeah.
Sometimes I like to listen to the Bollywood songs from the 80s and the 90s. Yeah. Sometimes I like to listen to the Lollywood songs from Noor Jahan. It just depends. So I would say, first of all, for the youngsters, to do a little bit of research first. You know, to know what's what, who were the legends, you know, how did they used to create their music and stuff. Mm-hmm. And for young artists if they want to be singers, you mean it from a vocalist aspect or from a producer aspect?
No, from a producer aspect.
Your question?
From a producer.
From a producer aspect, well, obviously research is the key then. You have to know your research. You have to do your research, you know, understand traditional, the Asian music, the Indo-Pak kind of music, and what's expected, you know, in terms of melodies.
Yeah.
And then it, slowly built up. Like myself, I started when I was in college. I started doing grime music. Grime music was like, the rap music that you have now.
Yeah.
But it's kind of grime. It's like a kind of underground kind of rap kind of thing.
Yeah.
I started doing that. I started making that kind of music is quite basic.
Yeah.
It's not something really sophisticated compared to our Indo-Pak kind of music.
Yeah.
And slowly, I had peers, my friends, they were into media studies. They showed me, actually, they coached me, you could say, to do sound engineering, to do sound recording, mastering, mixing. Slowly, I picked up the skills, and as years went on, my close friends, they said, look, you know what you're doing. You've been listening to music since you're a toddler. So why don't you go out and do something yourself? And hence that's why I done the Romero project, the whole album I done with her. Then after that I worked with Jiosaavn on the Birmingham song.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
And after that I done Wisdom with Zahid Rana. There's been no looking back, of all my supporters, my listeners, they're my loyal critics, because if there's something that they don't like, they'll tell me through Instagram. If there's something that I like, I see the appreciation myself.
Yeah.
In the forms of social media and messages. So I would say to the youngsters, don't ever give up. If you have an ambition, stay to it, but be dedicated to it as well. It's not like something that can happen overnight.
No.
I didn't ever think that I would.
Yeah, sorry.
I wouldn't think that I would get up and, I would work with Romero. She's quite an established artist. I had to work myself up, prove myself to her, because don't get me wrong, there were times where she wouldn't talk to me first.
Okay.
I had to prove myself to her, say to her, show her and say, look, this is what my project is. This is, what I have in mind. And, finally she agreed and she gave me the chance.
Yeah.
So if you have the ability, you don't ever give up, always tell them. Myself, I'm looking for UK talent as well myself. I'm going out there encouraging youngsters who want to get into music, but they don't know what channels to go through, because, they have the voice or they have the skill, but they don't know how to utilize it. And I think that is quite a common problem now.
It is. They don't know how to get in touch with music producers. And obviously a lot of music producers will not work with up-and-coming new artists. They'll only work with, established artists, which I think is, pretty wrong, really. If you don't give somebody a chance.
It is wrong, but I myself, if you've got the ability, if you've got the talent, I'd work with you. It's simple as that. The established artists and stuff, you have to give everyone a chance. You can't just, as a music producer from the UK, I class myself a British Asian music producer.
Yeah.
I wouldn't just have my focus on artists from back home, like Pakistan or India.
Yeah. I
would look for talent in the UK, and that is what I'm currently doing as well. People do send me demos and stuff of their voice, and that's how it works. You need to focus on where you're from as well, not just from back home. There's a lot of talent in the UK, but I don't know with the youngsters. I don't know. Is it like there's many factors? Is it like they're scared of what their family might say? Is it like the traditional aspect of it, the cultural kind of aspect of it as well?
Yeah.
Which it is breaking, it is breaking away. Compared to 20 years ago or 15 years ago and stuff, where it's considered to be frowned on in specific communities and stuff.
I think now the main problem is, I think the youngsters don't know how to start, who to get in touch with. I think that's the main problem, I think, nowadays.
That myself, obviously, if the youngsters listen to the show, which of course there will be, they can contact myself through my Instagram, which is official Kamiikaze.
Yeah.
If they've got the talent, just send me a DM on Instagram and we can take it from there.
There you go. So
I don't have no problem at all.
yeah, there you go. So it's so Kamiikaze is Kamiikaze, and that's it. There you go. So if you get in touch with Kamiikaze and send him a demo or whatever, and if he likes how you sound, you never know, you might be working with Kamiikaze next. Okay, Kamiikaze, what's your favorite track from the album?
That's another hard question as well, because every song has its own kind of flavor. There's a Sufi song, Sufi kind of bass song on there.
Yeah.
You have your beat, your upbeat, fast kind of song. You have your slow, mellow song. You have your ghazal type of Urdu song in there as well. So, in this time being, I would say, because it's nice, it's sunny. We've got a nice we've got a nice change of weather. I would say Confessions.
Confessions. That is a good song. That is a good song as well. So is the album available on all digital platforms?
It's available on all, like, over 250 digital outlets.
There you go.
So we take the pick, whichever outlet you want, iTunes, Spotify.
There you go.
You know, whichever's used.
And it's called The Album, by the way. It's called Kamiikaze.
You can't miss the sign. It says Kamiikaze on there. There's a big yellow logo, my monogram, official monogram.
Yeah.
It's there.
And it's called The Album. So I'm going to play you my track of the week next. And it's from the album by Kamiikaze. So I'm going to play that very soon. But before I do, Kamiikaze, I'll play a little game here on my show with the listeners, right? I play them a sound, right? And basically they have to guess what the sound is. So I'm asking you today as well, what do you think this sound is?
Okay.
That's the sound. It'll come again.
Okay.
There you go. Any ideas what that sound is?
Lots of things. It's quite a bizarre sound as well. I would say it could be a house alarm,
Do you know what?
Or like a.
You've got it correct. That is sound of a house alarm running out of batteries. So basically, that's what my house alarm sounds like currently. And it's been sounding like that for a year. I just can't be bothered getting on the ladders and unscrewing the whole thing just to change the battery. So I thought, you know what, I'll put that as the sound today for the listeners. But there you go. So everybody that got that correct, so well done to you. Okay, one more thing, Kamiikaze, before you go.
Okay.
I have an old school track of the day on my show as well. I give the listeners a choice of 2 songs, and the one with the most votes gets played as my old school track of the day. But because you're on today, I'm going to play the snippet of both songs to you, and today you're going to decide which song should get played as the old school track of the day.
Okay.
Okay, so here's your first choice. Bali Sago's Churalia featuring Cheshire Cat. Would you like this as today's old school track of the day? Let me know what you think. If not, if you don't like this, another Bali Sago, Dil Cheese. So Dil Cheese by Bali Sago or Churalia, which is it going to be?
I think it'll have to be Churalia. Why? Because Diljit, I love that song as well, but I prefer the original version. No disrespect to anyone, but that's just my voice, just my choice.
Okay.
So it'll have to be Churalia, definitely.
Kamiikaze chose today's old school track of the day, and I'm glad you chose that one because that is one of my favourite songs. And if you've got a good sound system in your car, make sure you turn it up full around about 8:55. Because I'll tell you what, Kamiikaze, I actually bought like a 12-inch subwoofer when I was like 18 just for this song. And and I'm telling you, it sounded great. Okay, do you want to introduce the track for me? John, I'm playing, by the way, as my track of the week. And then I'll hit the play button for you.
Okay, alright people, this is the song John by myself, Kamiikaze, featuring Romero. You know, it's available on all the digital platforms. You know, but also uploaded the video's been released. It was released on Eid, so do check that out on YouTube as well. Thank you everyone, and thank you for your support.
Kamiikaze, it was an absolute pleasure speaking to you this morning. I wish you all the success in 2021 as well. Do stay in touch. Do send me your new music in 2021 as well, and I'll make sure I'll spin them on my show. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is Junaid's track of the week.